woman noticed something unusual about the water in the prison. The moment Yu Jing walked away, she immediately looked up, and her right eye instantly glowed with a perilous energy. Upon observation, she discovered that Yu Jing had indeed put some unknown drug into the water, which was clearly an attempt to kill her in prison. She wanted to escape, but this top-tier prison, housing serious criminals, offered virtually no possible escape route. No other option, Sushan had no choice but to use her superpowers. She merely blew a whistle, and through the ventilation ducts in the ceiling, condensed a nearby metallic liquid into small steel balls. Tens of thousands of steel balls, as if alive, obeyed Sushan's command. They swiftly moved through the ventilation ducts to the prison corridor and bypassed all patrolling guards to reach Sushan's room. Soon, all the steel balls were ready, neatly plastered against the walls. Thinking that the time was right, Sushan immediately manipulated the steel balls to detonate. In less than a second, all the steel balls exploded simultaneously, blasting the iron wall 5 meters away in powder. But as soon as Sushan ran out of the room, she encountered several patrolling guards. Against the woman's superior combat strength, no matter how many guards there were, it could only be knocked to the ground. Thought she could easily escape now, but unexpectedly, countless traps had already been laid in the prison's outer perimeter. To evade attacks from tree-mount spikes, Sushan could only move like a spider, close to the ground, in a serpentine fashion. But just as she narrowly dodged the spike attacks, it turned out the lawn on a nearby rooftop was the biggest trap. Countless blades of grass had transformed into sharp thorns, ready to sting Sushan like a hornet's nest. Fortunately, Sushan noticed in time and used an extreme split to firmly support herself. But after a short while, her foot suddenly slipped. Just as her body was about to be pierced, Huo, her companion, appeared in time and saved Sushan. 400 years later, a plague swept across the globe, claiming 99% of humanity. Only 5 million humans survived, confined within a sealed, transparent glass dome. Family named Tianlong would send a spaceship daily to provide necessities for humanity. But as time passed, people suddenly realized that this glass dome was a natural prison. Recently, the disappearance of several young girls in succession raised public alarm, leading to the formation of a resistance organization called the Magic Cult. Organization member Sushan was sent as a secret agent to investigate the Tianlong family. Using a map she possessed, Sushan quickly infiltrated the Tianlong family's secret laboratory. She saw a strange octopus on a shelf and accidentally touched it, causing its program to activate. Soon, the octopus wrapped itself around Sushan like a belt. Sushan curiously pressed a button and was unexpectedly teleported to another laboratory. But before Sushan could properly investigate, a guard wielding a Gatling gun began firing at her. Fortunately, Sushan possessed the superpower of invisibility and easily evaded the guard's pursuit. Sushan then entered a nursery. Just as she wondered why there were so many nurseries, Guda of the Tianlong family suddenly discovered the intruding Sushan. She expected an inevitable battle with the surrounding enemy force, but as Sushan looked at Guda, she had an indescribable feeling. Guda's explanation, a shocking truth, came to light. The plague 400 years ago had caused humanity to lose its ability to reproduce. To prevent humanity from becoming extinct, the Tianlong family had kept this matter a secret from the public. Therefore, they would capture a group of young girls daily and transplant embryos preserved from 400 years ago into the girls' bodies. These 400 years, no one had ever suspected that the children they gave birth to were not biologically their own. Guda told Sushan all of this and hoped she would also keep the secret for him. But Sushan found it strange why Guda would tell her all of this. Scientist Guda told Sushan that he had injected his late wife's genes into a young girl, and the Sushan standing before him was a clone created from his wife's genes. I wonder Sushan felt an inexplicable sense of familiarity the moment she saw Guda. Sushan couldn't believe she was actually a clone, yet her body couldn't resist Guda. But this was not the best time for them to communicate, because Guda's younger brother discovered through surveillance the apparent affection between Guda and Sushan. They thought Guda had betrayed them, so they sent Guda's younger brother to silence both Guda and Sushan. After finding Guda, his brother revealed another truth. Although the plague 400 years ago had caused humanity to lose its reproductive ability, not long ago, humanity had recently regained its reproductive capabilities. And the Tianlong family, to continue controlling the world, could only keep this matter completely hidden. As they spoke, Sushan suddenly noticed nearby that her companion, Tongban, was aiming a sniper rifle at his head. Ban thought Sushan had betrayed them and sided with the Tianlong family, and was preparing to eliminate Sushan and Guda's group instantly. To prevent a misunderstanding, Sushan telepathically told Tongban the truth and revealed all of the Tianlong family's plans to him. Upon learning the truth, Tongban immediately fired a bullet, striking Guda's brother. A major battle instantly erupted. Taking advantage of the chaos, Sushan quietly climbed a metal tower. Prepared to destroy the Tianlong family spaceship to sever their connection with the